it's impending, it's coming, and they show you things like this in movies.
Shalom, giving all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushua, Ba'ashem, B'Kakodash. Shalom to the 144,000 and the rest of the elect out there. Shalom to you all. And I'm going to title this video. I had a couple of different titles playing in my head, but I'm going to title this video and try to make it quick. Let's see where the Spirit takes me. The title is, are you ready for it? The Mark and Predictive Programming. The Mark and Predictive Programming. So I was watching this. This is a bootleg. You know, you can buy, if you go to YouTube, put in Demolition, man, you can actually buy it. But this is some person that put this up, but it's bootleg. You know, there's like music playing in the background that's not a part of the original movie, and it kind of skips a little bit. So I'm watching a movie, you know, I'm 30, 40 minutes into the movie, and I remember seeing it when it first came out. This was I thought it was 1996. The movie's based on, the first scene is the characters, Sylvester Stallone playing John Spartan, and fighting against Simon Phoenix, which is played by Wesley Snipes. Action and adventure, futuristic movie, predictive programming. So you know you had the illuminated ones involved in this. So anyway, Simon Phoenix, and they even mention Simon Phoenix. They even speak about this guy rising from the ashes. So when you look up a phoenix is a fictional bird that is destroyed by fire and rises out of the ashes, and that's what the Roman Empire being destroyed came back into power again as this system that we know today, NATO and the EU, which is the beast system. The UN works with the beast system. Anyway, so in this movie was set at 1996, then it went into the future, jumped to the future, which was, what was it? I think it was 2032. So we're talking, you know, 8 years away. So it was based upon, it was the film, the opening of the film, when they put John Spartan into a cryogenesis state, I hope I'm saying that right, which they freeze your body and then they can throw you out and your spirit is attacked. So they froze his body over a crime that was committed. You gotta watch the movie. If you didn't watch the movie, watch the movie. It's pretty good, you know, pretty good. But so it was set at 1996, but the movie was put out in 1993. So they put the movie together in 1992. Could be 1991, 92. So anyway, in the movie, okay, on this bootleg version, it's 39, almost 40 minutes in, 154. I mean, an hour, almost 2 hours. It says, see what it says? Chip insertion. Got a hand there, right? It says, unfortunately, Simon Phoenix, which is played by Wesley Snipes, and everybody should see the movie. You look at it with a whole different light. Was not coded. Oh, another thing, the top authority in that movie was a man named Dr. Quado. Quado is another way of saying Judah. You know, you go back to the history of, and I did a video the other day, 3 days ago, of before the Dahomey Kingdom, which was Jake. You had this kingdom called Waida, which is another way of saying Judah. Then they said, because back then there was no letter J, they didn't accept it. They didn't accept the Renaissance alphabet yet. Anyway, another name, Waida, goes back to Oida, which they say is French for saying Judah. So there was no J. If you said Judah in French, you would not use a J. No J in French, in the French language. Also, I'm thinking here. So when you look up the word, when you go to Google, you put in Oida. It takes you back to Oida, and then it gives you a couple of different names. And one of the names is Judah. J-U-D-A. Judah is J in English is J-U-D-A-H, but they put down Judah, J-U-D-A, Judah. So why did the people? Why was there a kingdom called Wida, which goes back to Judah, because those were Judah. It was the northern kingdom, the southern kingdom. I'm sorry. So the main character is, this is a spoiler alert if you didn't see the movie. There's a guy, Dr. Quado, which Quado goes back to Yoda in the Star Wars series, which Yoda is another way of saying Judah. See, they know the chosen people are the Israelites. So now, the way this guy was dressed was in some ancient modern, you can say, like a robe type of thing. And he sounded very well educated. He had a bit of an English accent. And we come to find out, now Auto Ad Ko is about, which is Hegelian, a guy named Hegel came up with this concept of Hegelian, after his name, dialectics, which is problem, reaction, solution, pressure from above and pressure from below. Auto Ad Ko. So this whole movie is about Auto Ad Ko. So this guy, Simon Phoenix, he came back from the dead. I think he was put in that cryogenic state where your body's frozen, because he was sentenced. And that's how they sentence you. They put you in a cryogenic state where you sleep for however long, but you don't feel no pain. You just go to sleep, and then they wake the spirit back up. So he came out, but he's a phoenix rising from the ashes, because the first scene was this building caught on fire. So they were fighting, the two were fighting while there was a fire going on that this guy set Simon Phoenix. So they captured him, they arrested him. He's laughing and shit, and John Spartan is pissed off. He want to get at him, so they both get sentenced. And so this guy comes out first. So they said, this guy's causing chaos. They even said, the cops were like, dumbed down. They did everything by the book. They weren't tough. Nobody got killed in the movie. When they heard somebody got killed, because this guy Simon Phoenix killed a bunch of cops, and a couple other people he killed. And when he escaped, he killed one of the main guys. And they were all surprised. The police was like, well, we were killed deaf. They said 187, which is California code for somebody got killed. 187 on the motherfucking 187 is the criminal code in California for somebody got killed. So they're getting this information. I'm pretty much telling you the movie, getting you to know, thinking that you never saw it, but you got to see it again. And because we analyze, like I've been saying, we analyzing things now. Even Apostle Ramlab even said that we're now analyzing a lot of things. So a lot of scriptures we go to are scriptures that you may know, but we're analyzing things and we're using the scriptures as a filter for everything that we see around us. So come to find out, at the end of the movie, this is I'm going to give this away, I'm going to give this thing away so you can turn this off and watch the movie, whatever. Anyway, at the end of the movie, which I saw years ago, it came down to Dr. Quado. He released this guy. So it came down to this guy. He wanted chaos, but so he can bring order through John Spartan. So he said we have to get we got a 20th century criminal, now we need a 20th century cop to get this guy, because the cops didn't reading from the book. They said approach the maniac and tell him in a firm voice to lay down. And they didn't have guns either. They had these like cattle prod type of things, which would stun you. They did away with guns. Anyway, what else can I say about the movie? So come to find out, it was Dr. Quado that made it happen, where he brought chaos so he can bring back order. That's at the end of the movie. So it's a pretty good movie. 1993, I mean, if they do a remake on this movie, it would be a blockbuster. You get the right people. They can really, with the tech, with the CGI and all that, they can CGI, computer graphic images. Oh, they can make this a blockbuster movie. So if you're listening in Hollywood, we need you to make a remake on it. But anyway, right here, around about 40 minutes in, it says, if you notice, it says chip insertion, right? So it says, unfortunately, Simon Phoenix, which was the what's his nice guy, was not coded while you were sleeping. Now they're talking to John Spartan by Dr. It says Kato or Quato. I think it's Kato or Quato. Quato. It all goes back to Judah. Yoda, Oida, Wida, Judah. Okay, while you were sleeping, let me bring this back. Dr. Quato, that organically bioengineered micro C hit. There it is. That's 1993. So now y'all can say, well, Tahar, you got that whole Mark of the Beast thing from the movie Demolition Man. Because you'll say, y'all got that from Alex Jones. Look, I've been knowing about this through the spirit since I was about 12 years old. I knew about the Illuminati and the Rothschilds because my father was all into that stuff. He was a community activist, and he was all into the Illuminati and back then he called it Jacobin Society, which was controlled by the top rich family, was rough. So I knew all about this when I was like 11 and 12, and I thought my pops was crazy. Well, this guy is fucking crazy. Well, he was the one that did here. He said, you're an Israelite. I don't know what you're talking about. You're an Israelite. These Israelites. Okay, Quato, which is Dr. Quato, that originally bioengineered, bio means body, engineered, microchip. Hold up. You saw it. So he puts, now if you notice, he puts up his right hand and he's looking at it. No, he didn't know he was chip. You saw it. You saw it to the skin. Everyone in the city was installed. Ooh, everyone in the city was installed. It was a brilliant idea. What? The micro C hit. And this is 2032. Sensors all over the city can zero in on anyone at because it's an RFID system. In Europe, it's a NFC near field communication, which is the equivalent to RFID, radio frequency ID. Anyone at any time. It was developed, the work for living as fast as crap makes me want to puke. Can't even conceive a visual of what you police officers did before. Who do you think you're scratching? He said, who do you think you're... That word's going to be there. But he called him a caveman. You really think we like the second you thought by, didn't you just shove a leash up my ass? Don't you go without control? The leash is the chip. Your code was implanted. It said your code was implanted. Hold up. I don't know why that happened. It's back. Let me bring this back. I'm sorry. Let me go over here. Come back over here. Oh, I'm going too far. Okay, you coded while you were sleeping, Kato, the original. Okay, everyone in the city was installed. It was a brilliant idea. Sensors all over the city can zero in on anyone at any time. It was developed to work for living as fast as crap makes me want to puke. Conceive a visual of what you police officers did before you do what you think. This was another word here. He called him a caveman. You really think we like the second you thought, why didn't you just shove a leash up my ass? Don't you go without control? Your code was implanted. You ever wore a badge? You're going back, John Spartan. Oh yes, you're going. Amira, I cannot digest how you two please dump some hormones. See where, okay, feasible scenario resulting cortex. We can get into this situation. We don't need the need. Okay, man, thing from the appearance of Simon Phoenix, it is determined he will attempt to set up and correct Chef George Earl. Look at hate to interrupt you. You drug lab crime syndicates. Anyway, you got what you know. You can watch the movie. The movies. Hey, this is definitely predictive programming. So I looked up the word predictive programming. I didn't like what Google said, but I kept looking. Ohio State University College of Arts and Sciences, the psychology of extraordinary belief, ordinary students exploring extraordinary beliefs. Predictive programming. I like this definition. Predictive programming is theory. So that movie, Demolition Man, was nothing but set up by the Illuminated ones, and it's set up. You know, it's set up under this system of predictive programming. It says predictive programming is theory that the government, by the way, as any person and the U.S. citizen, what does it mean? What's the meaning of the word government? If I tell somebody the government was set up to control you, to control your mind, you don't have your own mind. The government, no, it's not. Ask them what does the word government mean. They wouldn't know. Nobody knows. A handful of people know. All right. Government means to control the mind. That's what it means. Govern means to control, and meant in Latin it means the mind. Mind. So the word government, this is your government speaking to you. This is the mind control people speaking to you, controlling your mind. All other higher ups are using fictional movies. With fictional movies, science fictional movies becomes reality. Or books as a mass mind control, government is mind control tool to make the population more accepting of planned future events. I can read more. Oh, wait a minute. I think I gotta say this, man. This is something, man. I can do it. Look, they mention guys like Alex Jones, David Icke. So this is a pretty good article. You know what I'm gonna do? Let me save this. Okay. So anyway. So I said all that to say this, that this is more proof that they're planning on micro C-hipping everybody. They're showing you in the movie. So like I said, you guys can now say, well, Tahar and GMS, they got it from the movie Demolition Man. That's where they got that from. That shit ain't gonna happen. It's gonna happen. Another movie they showed you, and that was in 89, 90, I think it was 90. Total Recall.
Yep.
The character that played by what's his name?
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
They showed him how to. They said put a towel over his head, put a towel, and then stick something up in your nose, and they brought out a big chip. You know, it was a big chip. So they're showing you that movie. They did the remake of Total Recall where they're going into chips too. There's a lot of movie that features the micro C hip, which goes under what? Goes under what category? Films, science fiction, but it's also a predictive programming tool. That's all it is. So it's right around the corner, man. Actually, it's right at the door. It's knocking on the door. The micro C hip is knocking at the door. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom.
Yep, right around the corner. Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakadash, double honors, the elders and apostles, the great millstone, who are teaching the truth and sincerity, and a shout out to Yakim out there on the four corners of the earth proclaiming this truth. Barak the Yahweh, Barak the Yahweh Shai, Ba'Hashem, Rakakadash, Rakatam. So we already know what the word government means. And govern, these so-called leaders, right? Walls linked to Wuhan Institute of Virology. Walls has been a staunch portion of the Hormel Institute in Minnesota, which works with the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Walz is under investigations for his links to the CCP. Hey, in order to even get into the White House, you've got to have a criminal record. And you have to sacrifice so many children. Harris's vice president pick has long-standing ties with the Hormel Institute medical research facility based on the University of Minnesota that collaborates with the Chinese Institute at the center of controversy surrounding the origins of C-19. As Congressman, Walz helped secure over $2 million in funding for the Hormel Institute technology acquisitions and was a strong advocate for the Hormel Institute, including by supporting its major expansions, the Minnesota-based group said in April this year. And like everything else, though, we'll play this one in a little bit because that's going to get interesting too. Due to popular demand, as if it really is popular over here, but I see enough people driving this crap. Tesla announces full self-driving coming to China, Europe, in early 2025. Well, those Johnny cabs that you might have seen in the movie that Apostle Tar just mentioned, Total Recall. Well, yeah, you got a lot of self-driving vehicles, and you have self-driving vehicles that are also armed like tanks and shit. And they show you that on some of the Top Gear episodes. Tesla shares outperformed this week with Tesla AI, affiliate of Tesla, wrote on X that its self-driving FSD, Advanced Driver Assistance Software, will be rolled out in China and Europe in the first quarter of 2025. Say goodbye to those Uber people, man. Because now these cars are they're programmed to take you where you want to go. You just use the app. Tesla AI said pending FSD rollouts in China and Europe are due to popular demand, adding that its regulatory approval first be needed to push over the air update in both regions. The update will enable drivers to activate the Advanced Driver Assistance Software. So, yeah, talk about RFID technology. So, like everything else, though, looming financial crisis alert. Buffett just dumped $7 billion of Bank of America stock. A must watch, so I'll play that.
So, you know who else, Alex, is thinking that there's going to be economic slowdown? Warren Buffett, right? So he's been selling Bank of America shares, which it was the second largest holding at Berkshire Hathaway, almost every single trading session for the last 9. But since July, he's dumped $7 billion. $7 billion.
That's right. You were on 2 weeks ago. It was $5 billion. Now it's $7 billion.
Now it's 7. He just did another $800 million yesterday. And so why? If he actually thought that the economy was strong and the bank was going to be successful and they were going to make money hand over fist, he's a smart investor. He would hold on to it. In fact, he would be buying more.
And let's be clear, I'm not an economist like you, but they have terms for this. He's selling as fast as he can without fully tanking the market. So he's watching it very carefully, and same thing with tech stocks. He's dumping that stuff as fast as he can without fully tanking things.
I know it's so he's dumping it like yesterday's trash. And why though? Why is he doing that?
We're ready for this global financial crisis.
Last Friday, he dumped like another almost $1 billion worth of Bank of America, and the stock market came down 600 points on Monday, the next day. Yesterday, he dumps $800 million worth of Bank of America stocks, and now the market's collapsed today. How is he always a day ahead, right? How is he? It's because I think he knows.
Yeah, they've got the inside knowledge. He's part of the military-industrial complex. And let me show you this headline. This is really an indicator. Dollar store stocks are cratering. Dollar store stocks are cratering, and pundits can't agree why. Well, because the numbers are coming out, the real numbers, the economy stinks.
Yep, and so like everything else, though, crash is imminent. Just like the MOTB is imminent, which will be brought out by the crash. U.S. to deploy new missiles to Japan, banned by INF treaty. U.S. wants to deploy previously banned missile system to Japan for military drills. The Typhoon missile launcher's ground-based system that can fire nuclear-capable Tomahawk missiles, which have a range of more than 1,000 miles. Ground-based missiles with a range between 310 and 3,400 miles, banned by Intermediate Nuclear Forces Treaty, while the U.S. withdrawal from in 2019. Typhoon also fires SM-6 missiles, which can hit targets up to 290 miles away. They're getting the nuclear weapons ready for a nuclear war, because you know that the U.S. wants to invade North Korea, and that's why they're setting up base in Japan and in South Korea. U.S. deployed Typhoon system to the Philippines for military drills, and they won a war with China for that matter. Move that China viewed as major provocation. The missile system was sent to Philippines for several months. It was first developed for the drills that started in April, and Manila said it would be pulled out in September, meaning it could still be there. So, like everything else, so this is what the Typhoon missile program looks like. These will be fired on the four corners of the earth.
The U.S. Army is set to deploy its newly developed mid-range capability, MRC long-range launcher, known as Typhoon, in the Indo-Pacific region next year, as revealed by a 4-star general. The land-based system is designed to launch Raytheon's ESMA missiles and Tomahawk cruise missiles, covering the range between the Precision Strike Missiles PRSM planned 500-kilometer reach and the future long-range hypersonic weapons, LRH up to 2,776-kilometer capability. General Charles Flynn, the U.S. Army Pacific Commander, confirmed successful testing of Typhoon and announced plans to deploy the system in the region in 2024, without specifying the exact location. While details about a potential agreement with a foreign government or deployment in Guam were not disclosed, Flynn ruled out placing Typhoon on the continental U.S., eliminating the West Coast as an option. The deployment of Typhoon marks a significant achievement for the Army, emphasizing its commitment to expanding the precision fire's reach. Flynn envisions a trio of long-range strike options in the region, with the PRSM being another key component. Lockheed Martin is developing PRSM for the M-High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, HIMARS, and the EMA Multiple Launch Rocket System, NLRs. The Army reported successful short-range tests of PRSM at White Sands Missile Range in New Mexico, bringing it closer to fielding the munition. While the initial results were positive, a final flight test report is expected in December 2023, and the service could begin accepting early operational capability missiles by the end of that month. Flynn expressed optimism about deploying PRSM in the Indo-Pacific without requiring specific foreign government permission, as long as they had previously approved the use of HIMARS. He highlighted the versatility of the missile as a compatible component for the existing HIMARS systems. Although the LRHW's operational target has been delayed due to a failed test in October, Flynn did not provide a timeline for its deployment. Despite potential uncertainties about PRSM meeting its 500 kilometers range goal, Flynn expressed satisfaction with any percentage of the solution.
So you get the idea, right? They're getting those ready. Judge delays Trump's hush money sentencing until after the election. Judge overseeing former President Trump's Manhattan criminal case postponed his sentencing for the second time. According to Reuters, the new sentencing date has been pushed to November 26 after the presidential election on November 5. Trump's lawyers asked Judge, who oversaw Trump's 7-week trial earlier this year, to postpone the September 18th sentencing. They argued there wouldn't be enough time for the defense to appeal Mercon's upcoming ruling on Trump's request to overturn the conviction, citing the U.S. Supreme Court's landmark decision on presidential immunity. So, yeah, you can see that's going on. Ukraine conflict must end this fall, and that's coming from Zelensky. Kiev has asked its Western helpers to redouble their pressure on Moscow. Ukraine Nazi leader Zelensky has urged NATO members to continue to arm the country and pressure Russia to agree to Kiev's peace terms this fall. He made the statement during a meeting with U.S. fuck-off Lloyd Austin at Ramstein Air Base in Germany. Regular gatherings at the German facility are designed to coordinate between aid to Kiev. Zelensky urged Western countries to support the joint production of weapons, including drones and missiles, on Ukraine's soil, so that way Russia can blow them up. Because Russia is blowing up their shit. Hamas blasts Israeli sadism as video emerges of Palestinians tortured in jail. And like everything else, though, you already know who Amalek is and what they do. Hamas has condemned Israeli tortures of and humiliation of Palestinian detainees in the Medigo prison, calling on the internment committee of the Red Cross to document such crimes. So, I mean, some are diagnosed with leukemia after they're released from the jail. I mean, this is what's happening. It's a total outbreak there. 5 martyrs in occupation aircraft bombing of different areas in Gaza. So, you know, Israeli state's having fun, you know, as they'll draw everyone into this war, the inevitable war. 5 Palestinians, including child, were killed, and others were injured on Saturday at dawn as a result of the Israeli occupation forces bombing of various areas in Gaza Strip. Wafa news agency reported that the occupation forces bombed a residential apartment in Al-Buda camp in the middle of the strip, which led to the martyrdom of 4 Palestinians and the injury of 10 others. The occupation forces also bombed a house in Al-Nusra neighborhood north of Gaza, which led to killing of a girl and the injury of others. So, you know, it just continues on. But eventually, you know, all the countries are going to, you know, want recompense for this now, like everything else, though. We definitely know what predictive programming is, and that indeed, you know, they show us things in that. Because we know that we're at that time when it shall both speak and cause that as many would not worship the image of the beast, which is the New World Order, their new way of life, you know, the Cocteau's way, you know, because that's how it was phrased in that movie, you know, that you can either live on top of Cocteau's or you can stay down here and you can starve to death. Well, a lot of us are going to choose to starve to death because we're not going to take the implantable MOTB. And Dennis Leary, who plays in that movie, was one of the ones that refused to take the implantable MOTB. You know, so pretty much though, he was the kind of guy that just said nah. And he had a gas-powered vehicle. You know that they've outlawed gas-powered vehicles in a lot of places in this future society because the year was 2032. But he had a gas-powered vehicle, which you saw that everything was electric cars in that movie too. That's another part of that movie. A lot of predictive programming in that movie indeed. And it's definitely worth rewatching again. Especially knowing this truth, just putting it all together. It's like, well, it's a lot more than just a comedy, because it was actually listed as a comedy, but it's a lot more. They even made a video game out of it as well. Revelation chapter 13, verse 12. And he exercises all the power of the first beast before him, which is talking about the Roman Empire, causing the earth and them that dwell therein to worship the beast whose deadly wound was healed. You know, to get down with the system. And he doth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. You know, and that's his technology, you know, mostly his missile systems, right? Nuclear weapons, because this was done, especially when they dropped it on Japan. And deceiveth them by that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. You know, and like everything else, though, you know, you hear about these miracles all the time, you know, of wounds that could never heal, and just limbs that couldn't move. Well, with this implantable device, you'd be able to do all that. That's what they're promising. Saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image of the beast, which had the wound by a sword did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast. And this is what's about to take place. That the image of the beast should both speak and cause as many would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. That is, those that refuse to live the way they tell you to. In this new tolerable society, better known as the New World Order. As George H.W. Bush used to call it, a kinder, gentler nation, right? Where you pretty much are dumbed down like the cops that you see in that movie. Yeah, you have to live their way. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their hand or in their foreheads, which is that implantable micro C-hip, that no man might buy or sell save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. This is impending, but it's coming very soon. So hopefully this has been edifying. But I will say, Bracha the Yahweh, Bracha the Yahweh Shai, Hashem Rakakadosh, Wa Abal Babal. Bracha Thumb, Jehovah Elect. And I'd also recommend rewatching Total Recall as well. Anything that you might have seen that deals with it, even $6 Million Man's worth looking at, because these implantable devices are in a lot of stuff. But Demolition Man, Total Recall definitely is worth a rewatch now that you have eyes to see, now that we have the 100% understanding. Shalom.